Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to the BookMine YouTube channel. In today's live stream, Victor and I are going to just scout or mine BookMine, see if there's any books that are profitable to resell on Amazon. And I have a strong guess or strong bet that we're going to find some gems. So, Victor, what's going on, man?
How's it going? Yeah, actually, this is part two, right? We just were on your actual specific YouTube channel just a little bit earlier, and we already found some gems there. So after watching this, I suggest going back there and checking out that video. We had some really great wins. I mean, I think we found like 5 or 6 books, and each one of them were definitely purchases. And hopefully, we'll strike gold here again. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm pretty sure that in the first 30 minutes we paid for a BookMine subscription. But, anyways, let's do it again. Why not?
yeah.
So, let's
The whole
go.
subscription, not even just for the day, right? The
Yeah, not
actual,
even
yeah,
no, not even just for the day, right? The
right.
subscription for the day is like $4.33 per day, 130. I think we've already paid for the entire month, but let's just keep going. Why not, right?
Right.
Okay, so let's go and take a look. I'm gonna go and open this one because it says sell out very likely. So just to briefly, right, give you guys an indicator. BookMine score 4 to 10. Any book that comes back with a score has some really positive indicators that make us believe that the book could be very profitable. And we start from 92 million books, basically all the books listed on Amazon. We get it down to about the 3,000 books, which we think have a lot of potential. So we've got a book here. Last 6 months, kind of what are you seeing? Let's just start with why this book got a score and why it's here. Sell it likely. So why did this book show up on BookMine?
Because there is a really low supply of this book, right? So
Right.
there's based on the supply and how many sales have happened in the last few months, there we have indications that this book, if the pattern continues, very soon this book will be back to zero, or
Yeah.
won't have any copies of this. And
Right.
when that happens, definitely the price spikes.
Yep. And so you can see it says close price, meaning it's not a good or a great price because we are seeing, okay, today's price is right around 35. We see sales in the 40s, but we also see a few sales higher than that as well. So it's as high as 70. We even see recently high, a couple sales in the 65. So it's a good price, right? Today's price is lower than what we see, although it's not like significantly lower. But again, Victor, I mean, look, we were at an offer count of basically 17, and now we're at an offer count of what are we at, like 4 or 5 here? Looks like we're at 4.
I
So,
think it's really good to point out where was 4 and 5 last time, like say
yeah,
in December there, where it was like 4 or 5, and then
yeah,
right after that, it kind of really started to spike, right?
yeah,
So we're
absolutely.
we're repeating that same exact trend, so
Right.
you can actually kind of base your decision on history, where literally when it was at that used offer count, the price really spiked.
Yeah. And you could even go further back into time and you can see what happens when this also went really low. I mean, you can see this was at a high offer count in the 20s, got down really low, and you see in spikes, sales range drops in the 100. So this is a book that I would still strongly consider purchasing due to the fact that, okay, look, you have a couple of recent sales like this month in the mid 60s.
Mm.
You're at a lower offer count. It has historical precedent for selling for up to $100 or even more than that. And actually, what's interesting is we didn't even see this. Like, what do we see here? This new offer.
Oh, there's one new offer at $35.
Yeah,
So
that's really interesting. Did I not
yeah,
have that on the chart? Let's see. I did. So someone just came in at 35, which is why this price just dropped down. So of the offers, I mean, you've got somebody at new condition at 35.92, and then a couple offers at 35, and then up to 60. So I would obviously from the two buy the new condition copy, and then
yeah.
I wouldn't sell it in new condition, Victor. I would list it in used condition, but obviously a new condition copy is going to be better condition quality, right? So that's the one
Right.
I'd end up buying. But
Yeah, and I think we were looking at that. I didn't see any prime sellers, which is also a really big positive for this. I mean, there's only 4 copies of it, so
right, yeah,
yeah.
the only prime seller is the person that you'd buy it for,
Okay, yeah,
buy it from. And also just remember that if you guys are doing Amazon to Amazon book flips, most books you buy will be from merchant fulfilled sellers, and you can just buy them directly on your Amazon account, even if you have a Prime membership. Because if the seller of the book doesn't ship the book to Amazon, it's not going to be fulfilled by Amazon. So if you have a Prime subscription, doesn't matter. But for these books that are fulfilled by Amazon, right, free Prime
hmm
delivery, you're going to want to make sure that you don't take advantage of the 2 day shipping, free shipping. You're going to want to pay for shipping, or in this case, if the cart value is over 35, you would qualify for standard shipping, which is non-Prime shipping. So technically, it's against TOS to like have a Prime membership and just buy a whole bunch of Prime offers and get them shipped to your house really quickly. So just so you know that, or shipped to your prep center, I should say.
yeah.
Just know that. So I think what's really important, Victor, is like this is a BookMine score of 4, right? This
Right.
barely made it
Right.
onto BookMine, but it's still, in my opinion, a really good book. So
Yeah, it's at the minimum cutoff. We don't show books in the threes, right? So at
mhm.
4 was barely enough to get us to show that you this book, and it was still a really good deal.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so let's keep going. We were just at the first page, and let's just
So,
go ahead and refresh the BookMine here.
so while you do that, Bernie says, "I like that Amazon is not on this listing. A lot of and that they're not on a lot of stuff I look at on BookMine."
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Let me just go and log back in here. And then we'll be ready to go. Yeah, I mean, we found a lot of awesome books on my YouTube channel today, and so we're trying to find some more here, which would be great. All right, let me go and share screen again.
Yeah.
Just had to log in. Didn't want anyone to see my login there. Okay, so we just go and refresh here, and again, I would really recommend not just necessarily opening every book, even though every book here is on here for a reason. I would
Yeah.
say to utilize your time most effectively, you should really try to get that strong foundational keepa, which just comes from just watching YouTube videos on my YouTube channel, also checking out Victor, Amazon, or checking out the content on Victor's Facebook group, and then really being selective with the books that you're coming across. So for me, right, I'm able to scan through 5 or 6 books and within a second here and go, okay, boom, Victor, this is a
Yeah.
book I wanna look at. Could you tell the audience why this book of all of them is kind of a book that I really like my sort of style? Like, why did I choose this book that I wanna look at right off the bat?
Because it has a proven history of really high sales, and just very, very recently, it dropped substantially,
Right,
like a rock. Right, when went from a really high price down to really low, and I mean, to any bookseller, any sourcing seller like that is definitely really exciting. You like, I got to
right.
go check out that book.
Absolutely, and so you can see a couple sales in the 60 range here, you can even see some sales in the 70s, one at 129, and this wasn't there for very long, Victor. What do you think happened? So, I mean, this updated 6 minutes ago. Who do you think about this book?
It could have been one of the people on our group. I mean,
Right.
literally, they get the first dibs at this,
Yep.
and this has probably been on BookMine for about 15 minutes.
Yep.
So yeah, I could see someone on BookMine buying it.
Yep. So it looks like it came in stock at 6:44. Now it's about 7:15. So we're looking about 30 minutes, right?
Right,
So I'm betting that somebody on BookMine bought this, and this is an amazing book. And Victor, it's sold in the 90s. I mean, this is a book that pays for your subscription in a day, like easily multiple days, right? Because
right.
if you were to pick this book up at $18.79, we can just go ahead and put in what we think the buy price or the sell price would be. But this is a book that came out in 2010, so let's go and put that
Wow.
1879. What would you be pricing this book at if you were able to have snagged it?
Yeah, I mean, definitely in the 70s,
Yeah,
middle 70s probably is
yeah,
my min price.
right. Because it's
Yeah.
not a book that sells very often, but it's this is a book that has held very strong historical data, right? Or really
Hmm.
strong used selling price, and I think it would. That's what I would personally probably price it at. And if you were able to sell it, you would never touch the book, make a almost 200% ROI. $34 profit. Again, book mine is about $4.33 per day to use. So 35 divided by 4. I mean, you're looking at almost a week of book mine, right?
Wow.
Just for that one book. That's only on the second page. We already mined the first page, which paid for the subscription already, but there's that.
Denise followed us too over here on our new page. So
Awesome.
good morning, Denise.
Yeah, thanks for coming over, Nisa. Appreciate it. We actually have quite a few people here as well, so that's awesome. Okay, this is actually interesting. This is the first textbook that I decided to look at. It does have the tag college here. Most
Hmm.
of the other books we've been looking at have been all year round books because they're not textbooks. But what's really interesting about this book here, August, September?
It had a lot of sales right there for some reason this book seems to do really well there in August and September. Like I've noticed that pattern just like with you,
Yeah,
but it's only 400 days old, so I can't definitely like verify whether or not that's happened.
right.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know specifically why, but yeah, there's a
I
lot of
mean,
demand right there.
what's interesting is that when it did come out, it was actually the January textbook season. So it actually started out pretty
Okay.
low, boom, went up to the 40s,
Okay.
50s. Right. Came back down. Interestingly, in that, let's see. Actually, no. So of that same year, right, August,
Okay.
September, same thing. Spiked in price actually up to $100. Like, I guess the new price was 80. Used
Mhm.
prices got up there pretty high. Definitely some of those sales were in the $100 mark,
Yeah.
$100 range, and then, kind of came back down to about $9, which is where it's at now, and then went back up to 25, and now you can kinda
Okay.
see,
So, yeah,
Amazon
definitely a college textbook,
yeah,
yeah,
definitely a
just like
college
you said,
textbook.
yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely the seasonality in January, right?
Right.
And so what's interesting is that this January didn't really perform very well. But of the 2 seasons, you can see that when it performed best was in September. So this book has a lot of potential coming up here in the future. Now, for me personally, it's cheap enough price that I would take this is a book that has maybe a little bit more of a risk to it due to the fact that it only it doesn't have tons of historical data, but I mean the kind of reward, risk reward payoff here is this book could go really high and it is pretty cheap. I mean, $13 is what you could pry it for. So it's kind of up to you whether or not you'd want to place. It doesn't, it doesn't have like that many years of
Yeah,
or
right.
historical data.
And
So
that's what we really like, right? Both of
yep,
us. We really like to see a lot of history of a book.
right,
But that fact that the first August is done that well would give
yeah,
me a lot of confidence in wanting to purchase it. The January season, not as well, but it's like you said, there's not much risk there. It's $9 plus shipping, right? And
yeah,
the reward there could sell it up to 100. So yeah, I wouldn't have
yeah.
an issue selling that.
Yeah. So for that last book, I probably because I'm not so sure or certain or confident, I wouldn't buy more than one copy. So I
Hmm.
would just let it ride. I think worst case scenario, you probably sell the book for like $30, make your money back or a little bit of money, but there's a lot of potential upside for that book for sure.
Yeah.
All right. This is a fascinating book. The Book of Knowledge here. I mean, Victor, talk about an expensive book. Is this book selling and for how much?
It's selling it's a pretty rare book to find a book that's this high in value and that sells this much. So
Right.
it's selling really, really frequently at 200 and like 60, $70. So
Yeah.
yeah, and
And
consistently.
yeah, consistently, and you can right, I even started tracking this, back in 2023, but what just happened here with the price?
It just dropped pretty substantially there. So it went down to $100. Yeah, it's a great
Yep.
value.
So $100 plus $8 shipping. So again, we're gonna show you the all-in price, 108. You can see that's gonna be $100 plus 8. And so you have somebody who is in acceptable condition, but Victor, they've got 588 ratings, 100% positive. What would you consider buying this used acceptable
Yeah,
copy?
I would because they have a really high rating. So,
Right,
which means that like even if it's acceptable, at least going to get an acceptable book back, which I can then
right.
sell.
Right, exactly.
And
You're not
at
gonna get a book
$100,
that's just, like, ripped to shreds that their dog ate that,
yeah,
has mold in it and you know what I mean? So you're
there's
gonna
no
get an
front
acceptable
cover, right,
yeah,
right, or anything like that. Yeah.
right. So the reason why I brought this up is because there are different sort of, mindsets when it comes to buying books, right? There's
Mm.
people who are buying the lower tier books, some people buying the middle tier books, some people buying the higher tier books. Would you think that this is a profitable book? I mean, it's more expensive, but you think this is a profitable book?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, if I was out here looking for books, if I was sourcing, I would buy this book. I know it's like, well, I'm not going to get a 300% or 200% ROI, but that's fine because I'm still not touching the book, right? All I'm going to
Yeah,
do is utilize my capital to buy this book
right,
for $108 and then
right.
be able to sell this book and probably well over 200. So,
Yep,
it's 60, probably 50, 60% return
yep,
on investment there. Or
yep.
okay, yeah, 47% return on investment,
That's
and
if you
I
list
didn't
at
do anything.
200, right? So,
Right.
yeah. So I think this has strong historical data to suggest that it's gonna do well. We've got a few prime offers, really just 3 or 4 that are pretty low relative to historical data, and then it goes up to the high 200s. So, yeah, I would say I'd probably list it for 200. This year it has sold for even more than that, and that's buy box for more than that. A little bit of a increase in offer count over time. So we would want to monitor that for sure. That's kind of one of the reasons why I'd probably list it at lower prices because offer count is increasing a little bit, but clearly a book that holds a ton of historical value there. So
Yeah. So Terry is asking, is the non-prime free shipping exactly $35 and above? And does it have to be 3501 or more?
mhm.
And is that before or after including taxes?
Good question. So ooh, the taxes part. So the interesting thing is Victor and I are sales tax exempt, which means we
Hmm.
don't pay sales tax
Right.
because we went through Amazon's tax exemption wizard and basically said, "Hey, we're a resale business, so we don't need to pay sales tax because the end user is going to be the person who pays sales tax." So I'm actually not sure. Do you know, Victor? Do you know if the So like let's say the book comes out to 33.50 and then tax brings
Yeah.
it to 35. Would that I don't think that would qualify, would it?
Right, it wouldn't. And so
Right.
the taxes won't get you over that. So you have
Right.
to have it before they calculate taxes.
Right. So it's got to
Yeah.
be and it's got to be $35 exactly or over to qualify for the free shipping. So yeah. So that's what it's got to be there. Okay. So I mean, we got a book that's definitely undervalued. But something that you all are gonna have to think about is kind of what is your style that you like to use. You know, what is your sort of ROI that you like? Obviously, the lower you go in ROI, the more books that there are. The higher you go in ROI, the fewer the books there are. Right? There's only a limit to how many 300% ROI books there are. There's way more 50% ROI books, right? So you guys have
Right.
to figure out kind of what's your cup of tea? Do you like books that that sell more quickly for a lower ROI? Do you like books that take longer to sell for higher ROI? So, for example, here's a great book, right? That is clearly undervalued, right? It's selling in the 60s, Amazon's in the 80s. Boom, it just dropped down to $35. I mean, so that's a book that's undervalued, Victor. But you
Yeah.
have to think, okay, are you willing to spend 35.99 to make 15 bucks? I mean, some people are willing to, some people aren't. So you just have to think what makes sense for you. But a great book there, definitely in terms of value, Victor. So
Exactly. Yep.
okay, let's see what else we got here. So again, I'm going to be quite selective with some of the books that we show you. I really like this book here. So let's go and take a look at that one. So we got ourselves Rustic Elegance. Again, a non-textbook here. I'm seeing sales in the 60s, right?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
kind of just a drop here down to $12.80.
Wow.
Um, Historical sales in the past as well. I mean, up to $100, up to 135, but probably more realistically worth right around the $30 range. It's been lower before, but kind of around that range is where I'd be happy, or where I would say, this is kind of the value of the book. But it did just drop in price. I don't know, Victor, is this a book that you'd be interested in? I mean, it has historical sales in the 50s, right? And it is actually quite cheap right now, 18.79. So what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not a home run here, but it's pretty good, right? So
Yeah,
what, 17, $18
yeah,
shipped,
18.79. Yep.
and just recently was selling in the 60s, and that's a really positive indication, right? That
Right.
this book could get back up there.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it if I was to buy one, I would definitely buy one copy
Yeah.
and probably list it probably around 60. This is one of these books that I buy one and let it be there
Eh,
for the next 6 months, and more than likely it would sell.
yeah, and for me, even though there are sales of the 60s, I'd probably list it at the 49 just because of the offer count there. But if you look on BookMine, this was a BookMine score of a 5, right? So this one barely made it there, but
Yeah.
not bad at all. Okay, so let's see what else we got here. See if we can find anything that looks very good just off first glance. Um,
Oh, we saw a Christmas book there, so it's also good to point out that we even have Christmas books on BookMine.
yeah, so there's you can sort by winter books there if you want to find those. By the way, we're not even doing any sorting. We're just kind of looking at the last updated books here. So we're kind of just looking at fresh inventory. So, here's a book that's not $8 or $9. It's selling in the high 20s. So, I mean, that's a solid book. I mean, you probably would want to go and do more research, but a lot of these books you can take a look at and go, okay, wow, these are doing pretty well at first glance. I'm really trying to find us like a meaty book that's just like automatic, like home run book. So let's see if we can find anything that looks very strong like that. Um, let's see.
Well, I mean, while you're doing that, I'll answer Rob's question. So Rob is asking basically, how do our prep centers package our books? And basically they've been packaging thousands and thousands of books, right? Like they have probably a few hundred customers, and so just imagine how much they're processing. They sometimes they'll take pictures of their warehouses, and they literally have pallets of books.
Yeah.
So as far as them and how well they take care of our books, I don't have any issue with it. They're not here in the business to damage our books, because if they did, they wouldn't be in business anymore, right?
Yeah.
We wouldn't recommend them. I
Yeah.
mean, both me and Joji use a prep center. We use two different ones, but we both really like our prep center. We have no issues with them. And also, it's good to point out both me and you have recommended them, and we haven't heard anything negative back to us. Like,
Right.
people aren't telling us, oh, yeah, I would stay away from Little While, or stay away from Central Virginia Prep. So
Absolutely.
That's also really good points to show or to talk
Yeah.
about.
So we've got Central Virginia Prep. That's Oh, sorry. Let me. Oh, we're talking over here. Okay, so Central Virginia Prep is the prep center that I use. If you go to my
Mhm.
YouTube channel and you're just on the homepage, you click the search button and you can just type in Central. Probably just type that in. Um, and you can see there's a video here called "Getting Your First Prep Center for Online Book Arbitrage." It's got over 1,000 views. That's Shanna Mann. She's the owner of Central Virginia Prep. Awesome person, great logistically, and no problem recommending her. By the way, I don't get paid any money sending you there, although it would give me a little bit of brownie points if you said Joji sent you. But awesome prep center, very efficient, gets your books out the door. There's no way I could do what I did in revenue without them because there's just no way with the lack of time that I have that I could get stuff out the door. And then we also got what Victor uses a little out. And Victor, we need to bring Frank on. We need some sort of interview with him as well.
No, I
But
agree with you. Yeah,
yeah,
I think he's. I mean, they're both great.
yeah,
There's
can't go wrong.
there's literally no issue with either one. They're both great at what they do. And the fact that they're still working with book sellers is a great bonus for us.
Okay, Victor. Well, I've got something for you. I think I struck gold while you're talking about that. I don't know. I mean, I see a book that is highlighted gold. Can you go into why or what the gold highlight means and what qualifies a book for getting this gold
Yeah,
metric?
so we're already at the top 3,000 books of all the books on Amazon. And then we decided to make books that are even the top of that even
Right.
higher, right? We'll highlight the whole thing in gold if there is so many indicators showing that this book, is basically a still
Right.
that there's more than one indication showing this book is a great value, and so we'll put that in gold. In any BookMine score of 8 or above gets this gold indication.
And by the way, you can filter that up here at BookMine score if you want to go 8 to 10. And
Mhm.
you can, I mean, we haven't even touched the filtering, but I mean, there's so much that you can do with all these filterings. We just kind of want to show you the power of just looking at recent books that have dropped in price. But this is sell out very likely and an amazing price. If I look at the Keeper graph, I get super excited. The only thing here, Victor, is that this is such a no-brainer, amazing book that it's probably already gone. So
Yeah.
that's why, making sure that you're on this throughout the day is really important. But I mean, if you take a look at this book, I mean, dude, this is insane, right? I mean, it's
Wow.
got sells in the 120s. Kind of hard to know what was happening back here because for whatever reason the used price is not on there, but has historical precedent for selling in the well over 100. Then you can see even recently selling in the 70s, coming in stock at 50, selling out immediately, and then you can see it just came in stock at $12.
Denise says, "I it's gone. I just checked."
Yeah, you just checked, right? It's gone already.
Yeah, yeah,
So the thing is, when you find books that are that amazing, right? They are going to be gone very quick due to the fact that this is the cream of the crop. This is the kind of book that you're like, man, home run if you can find this book. Because I mean, I don't know about you, Victor, but you would have been able to pick this book up for $20.49. And for me, I'm listing this minimum $75.
yeah. I was
Right.
gonna go with 100. I was
Yeah.
easily selling this book for 100 quickly
Yeah.
too. So
Yep. Sales rank drops well over 100. I would say I'd probably put the min price. I mean, considering that there's nobody in stock,
yeah,
I
because it
guess
would
you
just be
might,
you.
yeah,
So
just be
maybe,
me. I mean,
yeah,
you might even put 99, right, as the min
yeah,
price. And then you might even go up to like 129. And if you
yeah.
did that, I mean, look, you're three-quarters away to paying your BookMine subscription with just one book. So that's kind of one of the reasons why you do want to be making sure that you're looking at BookMine throughout the day because it does update hourly. And guys, we've only looked at 75 books out of 3,000.
And that was a gold book. That
That was a
was an
gold book.
8 score. So that's what an 8 score will give you.
Yeah, so that's not even a 10 score, Victor.
Right, right.
It's kinda crazy, but that's an amazing book right there. Here's another book that catches my eye, non-textbook. I love that. It's a non-textbook. I'm seeing great sales in the 20s up to the 30s. I mean, offer count looks fine to me, and you can pick it up for 8.99. This is what I would consider a bread and butter flip here. Victor, what
Mhm.
would you be pricing this book at if you picked it up?
Yeah, I mean in the 40s,
Yeah.
pretty easily. Yeah, and
So
then $6 plus shipping. Yeah.
yeah. So we're at $8 and so yeah. So 8.99. So actually interestingly the buy box is actually around 10 and then the cheapest price is at 8.99. So I would say for me probably the min price I'd put 29.99 which is 100% ROI, almost
Yeah.
100%. And
Oh
I'd
yeah.
probably put like 39.99 as my max price, but I mean is someone Victor, is someone going to want to buy this book? I mean, like, you can look at just the type of book it is, and you're like, this is obviously a book that someone wants, right? I mean,
Right.
tons of reviews about
Yeah.
Superman, it looks like it's a comic. Not only that, we look at real historical sales, we see sales rank drop, we see that the used price is often above 20, so for me, I would definitely be buying this copy out. I would even buy the $10 copy, honestly. Victor, you might not, but
Yeah,
I
I
would
would. I
even
no, I definitely would buy both of those. I
yeah,
think it's also good to point out because you've said this in this live stream quite a bit that it's not that these are not textbooks, and so why do you
right.
get so excited about them not being textbooks?
Because you generally tend to think that textbooks are gonna sell 2 times during the year, right? You're gonna sell them in January, you can sell them in August, September. You might also have a little bit of a May bump, but kind of what happens in the meantime? Like, what happens outside of that time? Well, you
Yeah,
have all year round books, right? These are
yeah,
books that you can sell pretty much. I mean, there's no season attached to when you buy Superman. It's not like, "Oh, it's February, now let's go and buy, Superman books,"
yeah.
like it would be if it's a college textbook or if it's a Christmas book. So I like the fact that it's an all year round book, but what I also like is that its historical data is gonna be a much better predictor of its actual intrinsic value because we tend to think that during textbook season, you have a little bit of an inflation in price due to the fact that there's so many few offers during that time because everyone's buying the offers, right? So you
Mhm.
have this sort of mountain, right,
Right.
in use price that you have to kind of account for. It's a little bit more tricky, right? You have to kind of look at past historical data, make a prediction based upon how high that's going to go. But for these all year round books, I mean, this is just solid data, right? It's like this is a book
Mhm.
that's gonna sell all year round. I don't know. Did I answer that well? What is your thoughts on that
Yeah,
same
yeah.
question?
No, no, definitely perfect there. I would just add a little bit more to it.
Okay,
Also on, I'm not against textbooks, so don't think of it that way. But one of the things that all year round book like this, I don't have any worry about is new editions. I
right, exactly.
Yeah, like Superman's been out for years and years, and there's probably going to come out a new magazine for that
Yeah,
for Superman, but that won't affect this book because it's
right.
it's an all year round book. Where
Abs-
if this was a college textbook, we would both be worried about the new edition
right.
about coming out soon, or how would that affect this book that we would have. So
Yeah,
yeah, we don't have to
absolutely,
worry about stuff like that.
absolutely. Right
Um,
now, I'm just doing,
yeah,
you know,
Bernie asked, are these Saturday morning lives going to be happening regularly on the BookMine channel? As a
y-
question.
yeah. I mean, that's our goal at least. I mean, we can't guarantee that every Saturday morning, but we've done it for the last month, Victor. Right? We've
Yeah,
done it
yeah,
same time, 6:30 to 7:30 a.m. PST. So that's our goal. I mean, is to provide value to the community. I mean, I think a lot of people could find value even if you don't sign up for BookMine. Like, just come hang out. You'll basically see books like as if you're here sourcing with us, and you could probably pick up some of the books, right? Because you know we'll be showing you books that we would say we would buy, and you can go and buy those as well. But yeah, there's a lot of free content and information I think you can get just from watching these, even if you're not a BookMine subscriber. But yeah, we're gonna try to
yeah,
do that. So we are getting closer than I'd say, Victor, we easily paid for a BookMine subscription in an hour. Um,
yeah,
so what I want to do is just kind of go over to BookMine, show you guys. You guys can go to the link in the description if you were interested in trialing out. So there's BookMine. You can learn about what makes this.
bookmine.co.
Yeah,
Right.
BookMine,
Yeah,
bookmine.co, link down below. And you can see what makes us different, right? I mean, I think some people would say, "Oh, another online book arbitrage sourcing software." I would actually not even group us with the other three because we're so different and so unique in terms of the features that we offer that I think we truly are a one-of-one category. So I would say there's us and then there's the three other ones, but I don't think there's anything nearly like us. I mean, you can look at testimonials. We've got tons and tons of people who are actual BookMine users, and they actually say how they're happy. And again, Victor, we're not here to scam you and take your money because bottom line is both of us do plenty well selling books on Amazon. And,
yeah,
you
exactly.
know,
Yep.
we wanted to offer something to the community that would really help people out, but we also don't want to undervalue the service. Like, once you guys get really good at reading Keep It, you guys will see how insane the software is. And so that's why it's not, comparable in price to the other ones. The reason why it's more expensive is because it does a way better job of finding
Yeah.
you books. And I
It's
hope,
a really
yeah,
powerful software. There
yeah,
it processes and massages 300,000 books hourly. It's
yeah.
it's unheard of in any other type of software.
And so we wanted to pick a price that made us a premium option, but also one that made sense, right? So we want to stand out from the crowd. So we don't want to commoditize ourselves and say we're like those other softwares because we're not. We're a one on one. There's like no similarity in terms of like the like what goes behind showing you these books. And then we also wanted to sting a little bit, right? If you have to pay $130 a month to access BookMine, then you're probably much more likely to actually utilize it and use it. So that we also want the people who are actually serious about getting to six figures annually. And at the end of the day, Victor, if you have to pay, $130 a month to get to six figures in revenue, I mean, it's there, right? As long as you have the capital, it's there. Like you can easily get there. And again, you can try
Yeah.
it out for free for 10 days. At the end of the 10 days or before the 10 days is up, you can say, you know what, I don't like it. You could even pay for the first month and say you didn't like it. We'll give you your money back. We're only here to try to help you guys out. So go there. You can try it out if you want. But I mean, other than that, Victor, I think we did a good job of showing the power of
Yeah.
right.
We just found, I don't know, I didn't even count. One of these days we need to count how many books
Yeah.
we actually pull, but definitely like at least 10 books, and each one of those, some of those like 2 or 3 copies of them. So
Yeah.
up to 20 books we just
Yeah.
found everyone there. And we've talked in our on our group together that the goal would be to source 10 books a day, and we
Right.
just did it in in less than an hour. We
Yeah.
sourced at least 10 books. So
Absolutely. So Denise is actually a member of BookMine. So
yeah.
there you go. We didn't pay her to say that. She's just saying that as well. So um, yeah, 10 books a day, guys. If you want to get to 100,000, 10 books a day, you can do it. We just spent an hour. We found 10 books and we actually went pretty slow, Victor. Like
Yeah, we talked
because
about
we were,
it.
yeah, we talked
Yeah,
about it. We
went back
said,
and forth.
Victor, why do you like this? Why do you like
Yeah.
that? We took deep dive into stuff and more just to help people out. Right.
Mhm.
So we hope people, watch this live stream because it's very powerful. Feel free if you want to try it out, do so. But other than that, Victor, I think we're gonna go enjoy our Saturday morning, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
All
it
right.
was a great morning with you guys.
Yeah. All right, guys. Have a good one, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.
Bye.